Hello, welcome to God's Junk Drawer. I'm Cody, and today we're going to be making some epoxy figurines. Let's take a look at the supplies we're going to need first. Of course, we're going to want some epoxy. What you're looking for is clear casting. You want casting epoxy. There's tons of different kinds of epoxy. If you don't know what epoxy is, it's basically superpowered glue with two A and B chemicals that you mix together, and once you mix them together, it makes that really strong glue. So what you want is clear casting epoxy, and you want it to also, if it says on there somewhere, UV resistant. If they have very, very cheap epoxies, which that's going to turn yellow over time once it's in sun. But you're going to find your epoxy stuff at your craft store is your best place. When you get it shipped, you're going to lose your low price paying for the shipping cost. So local craft store is probably the best place to go out and get your mixing solution. Some of the other fun things we can add to our epoxy, my absolute favorite that I got really into towards the end of my epoxy journey was this glow-in-the-dark sand. Basically, it's very fine, finer than like beach sand. It's a powder, I should say then. And so this one is from United Mineral and Chemical Corporation in here in the US. Basically any chemical corporation glow-in-the-dark powder is what you're going to be searching for, and they're going to most commonly come in green and blue are going to be your glow-in-the-dark choices basically. And this was a lot of fun to mess with, and the kids, this is absolutely always the favorite of the figurines, is when they get a glow-in-the-dark one and they put it in their hand. And these I never hold on to for more than 2 seconds when I had those in grab bags for kids. So glow-in-the-dark sand is a lot of fun. You can also go simple, just some glitter adds a lot of extra flair. You just mix this right in with the epoxy, so multicolor, you know, purple. I've done some with like winterscapes with all just white glitter, and then if you time it right, you can get it look like a snow globe frozen in time. There's tons of things you can do with epoxy that is a lot of fun, which is why I got really into it for a couple of years. The other main thing that we're going to add to our epoxy is for our colors. For this, I'm just using basic food coloring. Works perfectly fine. Again, if you're buying stuff from a chemical company, they're going to have actual dyes that, you know, are probably a little bit pigment-wise better. But you can just use food coloring. Works perfectly fine. Easily accessible. So yeah, if you were just doing, like, for example, epoxy and coloring and your glitter, you won't have to get any chemical supply stuff. Another thing, just supplies wise, it's helpful to get one with the actual ounces on it, because we are mixing even amounts of this A and B material. So to be able to do this is easier. You can also use solo cups, because they have those lines on the edge, so you can kind of figure out the ounces that way. But paint section, this is going to be your best option. And then just for stirring, a plastic knife that I can throw away when we're done. And then my silicone, just to kind of, you know, get our excess out. And silicone is great because we're using silicone on everything, because at the end when we dry, we can peel our epoxy off of silicone. And of course, our molds. As you can see, there are endless supplies of molds. Anything you can think of, there is a silicone mold for. So when you're searching for these, silicone mold is what you're going to be looking for. The best ones I find are going to be the ones that are intended for cake molds. So like right here, this is intended to pour chocolate in and then make cool stuff for on top of cakes or whatever. So cake molds and those fancy ice cube trays. Those are the two actual products that you're going to look for these. But yeah, you can just search silicone mold and they have tons of options. Star Wars, they have some of these more kind of 3D style, which are fish. Again, the cake molds, these roses and flowers. Even up to, look at this, giant R2-D2. This one was kind of my excess pour, first R2-D2. So I took the mold, and every time I did a pour of one, I just did a layering of the extra in this guy till he was full. So he's that's excess R2-D2. And the very, very back of him is glow-in-the-dark, which is kind of fun. Wow, look at all those colors. Isn't that beautiful? That is what I loved so much about epoxy, is the creativity. There's just endless amounts of fun things you can do here. I'll walk you through some of the examples. Here's just your basic one where you're starting out. This is just your epoxy and a little bit of green dye in there. And then we get into where it gets into the layering, where you're making two different epoxy pours. I found this was a lot of fun. So this one, the first layer, I'm doing clear with glitter, and then the second layer is red. The depth to these adds a lot of fun when you get into the multi-pours. Here is just another example, multi-pour, glitter in the front. Actually, this one's not a multi-pour. This one is glitter in the front and all clear. So on this one, I actually just put glitter in to see what it would be matted in the front. So this one has glitter matted in the front versus this one has glitter mixed in with the epoxy on the base of it. What else? This one is cute. So you have this guy with this little shirt here. So I poured just a tiny bit to give him a blue shirt, and then the rest is yellow. So again, just cute little things you can do. This one is blue in the back, regular blue, and then blue glow in the dark in just the front. Doing the glow in the dark, I found that putting it in the front works much better. I've tried like clear or very little color and then putting the glow in the dark in the back, and it just works much better for your glow in the dark, either to be your entire epoxy pour or just the front portion. Let's take another look at a glitter. So this one is a 2-pour, a blue in the back and a glitter in the front. This one is just coloration. So Darth Vader, I gave him just a very little faint glitter on his mask mouthpiece, and then the rest is orange and then red. And what else? Glow in the dark, so again, multi-pour, so glow in the dark just on the very top of this one, and then orange underneath. That one looks nice. And let me walk you through too. I don't know how well we will be able to see this with or without my hand. You can see bubbles in this one. And this is one when I tried to get into some large batch epoxy, mixing larger batches. And I did this with a kitchen beater, electric kitchen beater, and it created a lot of air bubbles. You can even see on this dry spot. That's the very, very top where it's going to dry. And unless I'm going through and poking every one of these things with a toothpick, it did not work well. So I wouldn't recommend trying to do this in large batches and with like an egg beater type of thing like I did. Stick to the plastic manual, because you're not going to create a lot of air bubbles just mixing it this way. So a lot of fun, a lot of options, a lot of creativity. Let's get into it. Blessing break! When we face difficult things in life and we don't know where to turn, it's nice to have those listening ears in our life. Those people we can unburden to and know we aren't judged, and know that they're just going to listen and say, oh man, that sucks. And you can say, it does suck, right? Your situation might have not changed, but it definitely feels better knowing that somebody's there and that they care. So thank you to all those open ears. Now we're ready to mix up our epoxy. You want to make sure you're working on a surface that is not going to get ruined. So this is a plastic fold-up table. You can also just, cover your surface in plastic wrap that you can throw out. Just something, because again, it is glue and it's going to really, really stick to stuff, and it can be hard to chisel off some things if you let it set. So be safe, work on a disposable type surface, and like this, I know I can scrape off of this one. And again, the other thing too, you are going to want to wear gloves, because you get any of this on your hands, it's going to be a pain to get it off. Once we actually pour and mix our epoxy, we probably have about 15 usable minutes with it before it starts to kind of turn into a gooish type material. So I'll walk through what we're going to do so we don't run into that. So here you can see it's basically like the front of an R2-D2, and this is a dried one with just colored glitter and clear epoxy. So on this one, we are going to do another pour on top, and the epoxy will just mold together. So we have one dried one, and then we're going to do our new pour on top of this. And then just a regular old fresh pour, which is just going to do on this one. And we will do a full pour for these ones. I've actually never done the X-Wing, so that is a new one for me. Let's see. When we are talking about our dyes too, we have green, yellow, blue, and red. But, if you want to mix your colors, you can, of course, do your color wheel type of thing. Make purple. You could make a lime green, a lighter kind of neon sky blue. You'll just experiment with your drops, and I always start very, very small. 1, 2 drops, mix it up, kind of see how it looks. One drop at a time, especially when you mix colors, no joke, 1 drop at a time. You can't take a drop out once it's in, and when they are too dark, it just looks really bad. So you want to stay a little bit lighter on your colors. Once you go dark, you kind of lose all the look of it. For this pour, I'm going to go a little bit more simple. I'm going to go for a regular green and add some white glitter. I really like how this white glitter, it doesn't kind of affect the color and gives it a nice sparkle. So we are going to do these two in our pour. 1-to-1 mix. These do have an odor, so you want to do it in a ventilated area. And it also does get hot when the chemicals combine. I went a little bit over. I'm at 13, so I need to go a little bit over with my other one. Let me give it a good thorough mixing for I think like 3 minutes. Work the edges as you stir. You're kind of gonna stir, pull the edges. Okay, our epoxy portion looks pretty well mixed here, so I'm gonna add our elements now. I used to have this down to a science and had a notebook and everything of the exact amounts. Let's see, we will just go here. I'm gonna go 1, 2 to start. And I will do the glitter after I figure out the color that I like. 1, 2. There it is. Let's see, getting there. I feel like I want a little bit more green. Kind of just, yep, doing 2 drops at a time. It's already getting kind of dark, so I got to be careful now. Now that I'm pretty satisfied with my color, I'm going to add in some glitter. Again, you're just going to, you know, add it in, see what looks right a little bit. It doesn't take a ton. And if I didn't mention, you're never going to do colored dye with your glow-in-the-dark powder. If you're doing glow-in-the-dark powder, that will just cover up your glow-in-the-dark powder. So make sure you are always doing clear and just glow-in-the-dark powder if you're doing that option. Season to taste. Okay, feel like this is pretty evenly mixed here. There are some air bubbles in here. You're always going to have air bubbles when you mix. But again, if you're just doing it by hand, these aren't too extreme and should come out in our pour here. Let's see, it's been a while since I've done a pour. Let's see if I can do it properly. With our pour here, we are trying to go perfectly flat with the surface. We don't want to be concave. This one is a little convex, so this one won't sit perfectly flat. Once you've made your pour, you're going to kind of just have to live with it. So go very slowly. Like on this one, I can see just barely his foot's out. So I want to give it just a smidge more. Again, I'm dropping. You're going to drip a little. And then I'm just going to move this to the outside where it's flatter. And then that will sit. Looks like I'm going to have plenty more epoxy to do another mold here. Nice and slow and even in the center. Kind of let it work itself out. Slow, even in the center. I should have done this the other direction first. It's easier to go like a book. These molds have been sitting for 8 hours now. It says 4-hour cure time, but I like to double it and make sure it's nice and hard. I can't pierce with my finger, rock solid. These silicone molds come out real nice and easy, as you can see. Here are all of our green roses. Those look pretty. And on our rose we have, looks like our glitter's not coming much through on this one. We only put a very little bit of glitter. So I'm not seeing glitter much on this one. Take a look at the X-Wing here. This is a new one. Very nice. Look at that. Oh, that's good detail actually. This turned out nice. Yeah, that one could be fun to add some colors for the top part, for like the gunmetal. Have a darker color there. One thing I'm noticing on this one that I don't see on a lot of other pieces is with these very small sections here, it's causing some minor air bubbles. So what I would actually do if I did this mold again is, as soon as I did that pour, I would take a toothpick and basically just kind of force it down, you know, just wiggle it, force it down into those tiny grooves just immediately when you do your pour, and then that should take care of that. Now let's look at the 2-pour one. So this is the one where we had the colored glitter and clear at the bottom, and now we're putting the green backing. So these are R2s. I got R2, D2s of all sizes. Oh, that looks nice. Oh, I like that green back. I think I could have gone a little bit darker with my green. I like this. This is the mid-sized R2. That's the good looking one. That turned out nice. Yeah, I could have gone darker with my green, but this is good. Well, that's epoxy figurines. It's nice to have an arts and crafts project this time around. One more thing I didn't say about the silicone trays that you might have seen. There's going to be 2 kinds of silicone. This more heavy duty ones, they're always going to have like this edging around it. These ones are going to be much nicer. They always sit nice and flat, and you're going to get good molds out of these ones all the time. These flimsy ones, you have to be very careful about, you know, how you set them, and if you move them at all, like after you pour them, they're going to be a giant mess. So when you can get these ones, they work well. This project was a lot of fun. Actually, I was thinking about what I was going to say in the outro, and it reminded me of when I was a kid, and I'd make creepy crawlers. That was a blast from the past, and this is creepy crawlers revisited with epoxy. So it was a fun one. I hope you enjoyed it too. See you on the next one.